Hello everyone. It's your boy Snazzy, and we are back with another video. This morning we're gonna be hitting mobs, of course, quite naturally. Like always, we're gonna be hitting mobs, as you can see in the back here, in the background here. Uh, we are at a location that we are pretty known for in my guild, very sadly, and pretty much with a lot of our friends who make fun of me for still grinding this area because I enjoy this area. It's very chill, very relaxing, and very casual grind that I don't have to really take too serious, and I can make a decent amount of money at. But no, that's not the whole point of the video. Like the point of this video, we're gonna be talking about like the Cinder situation still, but it's not gonna be about the whole Cinder situation. We pretty much concluded with how we felt. I don't think I made a video about it, but we talked about it very briefly. It was like, quite naturally, Cinder, what she did was wrong. What Red did was wrong. It is what it is. The fallout between all their friends, right, everyone in this involved in this, pretty justified in my opinion, right? People may hate that Cinder career may be harmed because of this, which it is like, but she's the main cause of all of this in the first place. If she didn't do all these things, quite naturally, this would have never happened to begin with. But quite naturally, that's my opinion, right? Some people may not like that, right? Some people, even in this, I guess we can talk about in this opinion doc from Powder, another VTuber, if I'm not wrong. Um, this VTuber stated her opinion through these docs on the last few pages. Now, if I miss something, right, in between everything, from what I understand, I thought she just pretty much put everything in order by the looks of it, like every doc in order. But maybe that was not it for like those first like 36 something pages, right? And the last remaining pages was just her opinion about everything, and that's what we're going to be going over in this video. We're going to try to keep it short and quick. Meanwhile, playing Black Desert, of course, right, on the side for you BDO enjoyers, right? We're going to start off with this part, and we'll give our opinions right after every segment, right? The DMs shown do not support the claim that Nano was being manipulated. What they do show is that Red and Nano had a relationship where they were open to discussing both personal and business matters. They appeared to be very casual. Nano claiming manipulation is a gross mischaracterization of what was said in the DMs. Ultimately, Nano has the final say in how she handles her own business. She has shown us that she can confront Red and Cinder about how their words affect her. She has also shown us that she makes tough decisions or tough business decisions based on her own volition, such as canceling clients' projects, stepping back on exclusivity deals. There's a gap of lack of and a gap. There's a gap in lack of context in the DM conversations that make me question the specific claims against Red and Cinder. Now, for you are right, but quite naturally, like we can't sit here and be like that Red and Cinder didn't have any type of influence on Nano's decision making, right? On a lot of the things that are leaked to us, right? At least the information we have, right? On with all the DMs, right? Like, yes, she is making the final word to cancel people's models or stepping back on, like, yes, she is doing those things. But when you're being constantly pressured by those said to people for all these things, that is manipulation, believe it or not, right? Because you're constantly on their ass every day, like as soon as she probably wake up or whatever time these messages are happening, or throughout the whole day, they're constantly asking questions about, like, you know when's my model going to be done, or like who else model you're working on right now. Like it's things like that, right? You know it, we all know it. Like this is what manipulation is. It's not grossly characterized. I think it fits the situation best. Right, let's move on to the next one. Right, Red as, well, I can't even find my mouse for some reason. Right, Red as Cinder's manager and lover. Right, this one's not that important, but I guess we can talk about it. Throughout these DMs, we should keep in mind that Red was acting as Cinder's manager. Yes, it has come out that Red and Cinder are in a relationship too. It makes sense that he would try to push for his client to be prioritized, especially given the 3+ year working relationship with Nano and Cinder, prominent in the as a top indie VTuber. The assumption that Cinder knew 100% of what Red was saying in DMs because they are boyfriend and girlfriend, I believe is false. However, I do believe she stands by what Red was saying as evidence in the screenshots, right? And I will agree on that 100% because I'm pretty sure you have to know that, he's doing a lot of these things he's talking. Like, you don't have to come back as someone's manager, and especially as this person's, you're their boyfriend at that. Do you always need to come back with every detail for Cinder? Probably not, because she understands that you're doing everything for the best interest of her, at least at that time. You're doing everything for her sake, right? At least we can say that, right? Like, or am I wrong about that? I could be wrong about that, but I think I noted it because I took notes of this quite naturally just to be sure that I don't forget some of the things I want to say. Right, as both Cinder's manager and personal partner, Red is not expected to report every detail formally. When trusted partners communicate off the record is acceptable as long as there is an understanding of mutual trust, right? In which she she definitely trusted Red with everything for sure, 100%, right? 100%. She probably had so much trust in him for every deal that, or every, I guess, negotiation, whatever discussion that was being taken place between him and Nano, right? 100% faith, no questions about it, right? Let's move on to the next part, right? On model cancellation, right? Let's see, all that. The claim that Red manipulated Nano into canceling Silvervale and Val's model is weakly supported at best. While it's clear that Red wanted Nano to prioritize Cinders, he also expressed understanding when Nano says she wanted to continue working with other clients. He specifically states that he didn't want to make Nano feel like she had to cancel Silvervale's model. There's missing context around why she felt she had to cancel Silvervale's commission. As for Bao's model, there's no clear indication that Red was Red was the reason behind its cancellation. If he was, why weren't those DMs shown? What we do see is Nano expressing fear about canceling Bao's commission, but the actual reason behind the cancellation isn't provided. Uh, this one, it's like you're right. You're right. Right. We can all agree. Like she's pretty spot on. Right. There is not much evidence to show that there's full proof that she was being manipulated, but we can all sit here and agree that neither one of them have refuted this claim. So it makes me believe that they probably now admit to the fact that yeah, maybe we did manipulate her, because quite naturally, sometimes you don't even feel, when you feel manipulated in some things. Like it's only after the fact that things happened, right, or things was taking place, right? Like sometimes people don't even realize that they were being manipulated at the time until afterwards, right? Afterwards, after they analyze what was taking place, the discussions that were being taken place, and she definitely probably came to that conclusion after the fact of everything. And quite naturally, like we said here, like, yes, Nano is the final say, like in the first part, like she is the final say in the cancellation of anyone's commissions. But quite naturally, do I think Cinder and Red had a part in those cancelizations? Yes, 100%. I believe it because quite naturally, being pressured, the amount of pressuring that Red and Cinder were constantly doing, like constantly messaging her on like everything that was taking place, or like when, like whose project, like you know what we're talking about, like everything, all the DMs that we've seen, right? She's constantly talking about these things, or like expressing like emotional attachment, things like that. We also made a note of this. Let me read it out. Despite Nano having the final word, constant pressure from Red and Cinder and possibly other factors contribute to the cancellation of Bow's and Silver Veil's commission. Nano's repeated expression of fear. You know that DM. It's the one where she was using a Pepe crying emoji, if I'm not wrong. Right? I feel like right there, man, I don't even need to read my note for this one, was probably like under duress. Maybe at the thought of making the decision of canceling Bao's model. Like, I wouldn't say, like, maybe there is fear of that, but I feel like it's probably more duress than anything. Like, I feel like, yes, while she has the final decision, the final cancellation of everyone's model, the environment created by the persistent nudges from Red and Cinder indicates that they also share blame for influencing her actions, right? And I believe that 100%, like that they had a lot of influence on her decision making, on the cancellation of their models, right? Their commissions, every single one, and even probably other people that we don't know who were involved, probably, right? On to the next one. The exclusivity deal should be the next one. Yep. Okay. Is completely reasonable and understandable that those affected by the exclusivity deal would be upset. But what we are shown is negotiation, not final terms. It makes sense that given how popular Nanos is and her long turnaround time, that Red and Cinder would like to go exclusive. It means that they can get more commissions done quicker. Is it nice? No, not particularly, especially since it affects some people Cinder consider as friends. Is it sabotage? No. This is one artist who works with top indies respectfully. If they can commission Nano, who charges 10K for model art, not rigging, they have the means and connections to commission someone else. However, if the final terms include canceling models mid commissions, that's not fair. I wish we had more screenshots and evidence of the final terms Nano stepped back on. Now, I think there's a lot to say about this part, particularly. Um, I'll probably even go to the side for this one because we can talk about this one very detailed, and we'll read off our note that we made on the side. All right. Now, I'm one to believe, like, yeah, like, there's nothing wrong with exclusivity, though. Like, for fuck's sake, we have exclusive titles in games, for fuck's sake, right? So, there's nothing wrong with wanting an artist for yourself only, right? But how you go about it is obviously what matters, right? The way you're doing it and the people you are trying to stop exclusivity, to have exclusive for yourself, and the people you're doing that to, who are your friends, is the wrong way to go about it, right? Like, having exclusivity for you and your friends, maybe that's what you should have went for. So where only you, Silvervale, and Bao were the only ones to receive work from Nano. Maybe you can go about it that way, but you selfishly only wanted that for yourself, and that's the problem, right? So yeah, no, it is sabotage, right? Little that it may not be intentionally. Maybe she didn't mean to do it this way, but it's still sabotage, even indirectly, right? Right. Now, let's see. I just lost my thoughts, right? We'll read our note, right? We'll read our note. On the surface, the negotiation might seem like regular business practice, but the cumulative effect of informal, off the record exchanges signals that the dynamics went far deeper than mere strategy. These exchanges not only affect Nano's decision making, but also spread accountability amongst all parties, not just Nano. We have to also understand, right, with the wanting, like with her briefly, like saying that what, like this, they can commission someone else, like they can go get commissions from other people. But the reason why people even they went to Nano, because quite naturally, we all know how talented Nano and her style is very unique. People love her style. She's definitely one of the top artists in the VTubing community. So people want her because she's arguably like one of the best, right? We can all agree here, right? That style is irreplaceable. So essentially, their projects being canceled, uh, they're not going to be able to get that commission done, right? If you really think about it, or if they're going to get it done, it's not going to be to the satisfaction that they want it to be. Like the end product is not going to be as satisfactory. So to say that, they can just go find someone else with like the type of money that they have, like, yes, they can do that, but it's not going to be the result that they want at the very end. And, we all know how like how everyone puts a lot of emphasis on how much Nano style stands out and how much all the VTubers, right, all the VTubers that have gotten work done by her, they love her style, right? That's the reason why it costs a lot, and that's why, oh, drop my controller. That's why a lot of people come to her in the first place, and that's why their projects didn't get completed, because definitely it's because how are you supposed to replace that with someone else's like art style that may not be able to, you know, right? You already know. You get the point. Get this. Right. The next part here, nano leaking DMs, right? Uh, excuse me. Learning that Nano leaked DMs between one of her clients, redacted Cinder, to other clients such as Shy Lily and others is both careless and inexcusable. It should raise serious concerns and plant doubt in minds of anyone she works with. Is this really how she chooses to end personal relationships, by leaking private conversations to other clients and publicly shaming them through Google Docs? And when Cinder and Red attempt to speak with her privately after the initial documents are released, she blocks them. To be charitable to Nano, it's understandable that she might casually mention Red's apparent issues with Shy Lily, but sharing full conversations in the way she did cross the line. I can agree with that 100%. 100%. Right? 100%. Because I kind of find it weird that you're having not just about like personal information about the other people and vice versa, like, oh, your issues with like this person and what they do, right? But also like you've seen multiple times. I hope other people also realize throughout like a lot of those DMs with Red and Cinder constantly like bringing up like other people with their projects, right? Like what are they doing, or it's things like that. Like you're bringing up their projects and wanting to know about like what they're like, what's the time frame of theirs being done, or things like that. Right? You're giving information about other people's projects that you shouldn't be giving information on in the first place, which we can all agree that yeah, Nano, that's not the wave you should be on, right? And people are not going to trust you, right? And even in the like, I guess we can partially like we can halfway agree on the like well, shit. Like, I kind of have to agree with her on the last statement too, because it's like you're if you're talking shit about someone or even like talking about issues that you have with someone, like with this person that you have professional like communications with, and I'm pretty sure I'm on the line that you can tell like the other people who they have issues with, and then quite naturally they can deal with that. It's like you shouldn't be talking about things like that with someone like that in the first place. But that's me. That's me though. I wouldn't do things like that, especially if this person like they're supposed to just be doing your art. They're not like your they're not supposed to be like in this sense. Like yes, they can be your friend, but you're strictly here for business. You shouldn't be doing things like that in the first place, right? That's pretty much it for this segment. And Shy Lily as the orchestrator, we really don't have to talk about this one. Not really, if I'm being honest. I feel like a lot of these things are very nitpicky at best. Like, right? To have what her taking what pleasure in her ex friend's downfall. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would do it. Okay. Like, you can't sit here and be like, yeah, I'm not going to care about someone that I'm not going to associate with anymore. Right. Especially if I ruined their careers. Like, yeah, I'm not going to care. Right. Right. I'm not saying for myself, but like in her case, she's not going to care one whatsoever. Like, and she has the right to not care about the friend that essentially backstabbed all of them in the first place. Like why she should care about like someone else's career that was harming their careers, their streaming careers and hurting their friends' feelings for their own personal gain. Like why would you like no, you're not going to care about someone who did that to one of your friends and were trying to do those things to you as well and then get mad at you for not acknowledging their raids or she probably knew at this point that Cinder was fake. So she wasn't acknowledging maybe we may be wrong about that. Maybe around this time they were still like on good terms. I don't know. Also what like we can talk about like the sources. We won't pull up the videos because you can check all these videos. So by the way, we'll link this document for anyone who wants to see it. Just go to the last what like these last few pages, right? 42 is where it starts, right? I like most of it. It's just very nitpicky at the end of the day. Like she has the right to feel the way she does. Wait, for even like the ghosting messaging one especially is like she only wants to collab when events pop up or like for business related things. She only comes around. It's like one of those people who only call you when they need something from you. Right? You know what I mean when I say that, especially other black folk like myself, right? You know people who are like this in your life. They only call you when they need something, not when they actually genuinely want to do things with you and they're always around and then maybe like here and there they'll ask you for things, but they don't ask you all the time. They only come to you when they need something, right? So that's how I see that. And then her dodging collabs. She just said what she just didn't want to go to that club. You know, that's her decision. She doesn't have to go to club. She doesn't have to go. She's not obligated to go to every club either. Like maybe if she was in like a corpo like business, she will be obligated to go because quite naturally she's now she represents herself. Like maybe that's not good to be doing like as an indie VTuber to be doing that, but like she's making that decision herself and she's okay with the outcome, whether you like it or not. Right? It's her decision at the end of the day if she wants to not participate in a collab. Right? Um yeah, that's pretty much It's what the bow one. We don't really need to talk about that one. Not really, right? But we already that one already makes me sad enough. Like with how sad she was, it's like, right? And quite naturally, Cinder's apology. We don't need to talk about this one. We can all agree her apology was very piss poor ass, right? That shit was atrocious. That shit was, and like she said here, it probably would have been better not to apologize. You were better off not even making an apology post because it was it, you probably didn't even mean it. You're probably just sad. You know how like those people who get caught cheating, you're more sad that you got caught than anything, right? You're more sad that you got caught, right? That you got found out that you were doing these shady things behind everyone's back and pretty much the cause of multiple people models being canceled, you know? Right? So, final thoughts. This one is up to perspective. She says, and I saw this on her posts, her ex posts as well. Probably leave a link to that as well if you want to go check that out. Uh, she she and a lot of people in our comment section were saying that this shouldn't have went public. This should have been handled behind closed doors. I am one to say there's there's pros and cons to everything. Now she's taken the discretion route, which some people made it. They may like the discretion route simply because they don't want the career of the other person to be harmed. But quite naturally, if you take the transparent route, like being transparent, has its pros and cons, just like being discreet. I'm on the line. I like transparency more than anything, and a lot of normal people they like transparency more over discretion, right? Being discreet about everything. Um, Keep in mind, people don't like the government because they're very discreet about everything for the most part across the whole fucking globe, right? People don't like discreet actions or even doing things discreetly because quite naturally, do you trust people? No, right? And it always leaves questions whenever people do find about these, they find out about these things, and then you see how they act on stream. They're not like super people. Their fans know when something's wrong, and then when their VTubers not talking about it, you know something's wrong. It's very obvious as a viewer of your favorite VTuber, like you're gonna notice these things, and then especially if you notice it, and then the fans will start to put two and two together because quite naturally they're watching you and you're always streaming, and quite naturally you may not say it, but there's something wrong, especially if all of a sudden you didn't see Cinder or Shy Lily, Bow, or Silvervale ever speaking to Cinder all of a sudden everyone would have noticed that 100%. So at the end of the day, it's all perspective, right? It's all perspective on how do you feel about like the outcome. Some people don't like that they were being transparent, that Nano was being transparent, that Shy Lily wanted this to happen. You could be mad about it all you want. I feel like at the end of the day, if this was like some other scenario, people they would want everything to be transparent, just like with the Diddy situation. Everyone wants to know everything that what happened, like, and is he actually guilty of all the things that he did? Right? Is he actually guilty of all the things he did that is alleged? Everyone wants to know. People are okay with that type of transparency. Same thing with the Johnny Depp situation. Right? I gotta point it out because it's the truth. Like people would, if this was the guy, if it was this was a guy that did these horrible things, people would want to know. Right? People would want to know. At least that's how I see it. So I'd like to know what you guys think. Nate, Birdie, hope you liked the video. Right? Because Birdie wanted me to do this video. I put it off for like what, like a day or two, and then I was like, okay, I'll do the video now because this will be the perfect time. And it's a Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful people, all you beautiful moms right out there, right? And like always, stay good, stay safe. Later, everyone.